Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for another video. We are going to be talking about the Shimano Twin Power and why this reel might be something you want in your arsenal. Without further ado guys, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we have the Twin Power FD today. As you guys may or may not have been noticed, I made an emphasis on the FD primarily because there's two reasons. There's a XD version of the Twin Power and there is this version, which is the FD. They both have some similarities, but they're a little bit different in terms of the build, the construction, and really the purpose of it. But both are saltwater compatible. Both have a lot of the same technology built into it. It's just that the XD has an MGO rotor, whereas the FD does not. So the XD is ultimately lighter by a little bit, has a little bit of a different construction, and it's more geared towards inshore fishing, and they look distinctly different. The FD is this color here, which is like a magnet gray kind of a color with black and gold accents. And then the XZ is a blue reel with silver accents. And so different reels there. So this is the FD right in front of us here, but let's talk about it. So what makes this reel, I guess, so special? Because this is a pretty expensive spinning reel that we have in front of us. Retails at $439.99. And it goes all the way up to $459.99. And so depending upon which model that you get will depend upon the price. But this comes in a really nice, kind of like a tungsten gray, magnetic gray kind of a color, similar to like the Metaniums. Got a nice black accents here with the gold trim on it too as well. To be honest, I think this is one of the best, if not the best, looking spinning reel on the market. The gold accents of course get covered up when you're when you have your line spooled up, but just that the hint of black and gold in there just looks amazing. And I love the magnetic gray kind of a color that it has, just a nice appeal to it. But if you're wondering where this reel falls into, because there's a lot of Shimano reels nowadays, this one is going to be, it falls right in between the sustain and the accents. So it's like right in between those two. And I know there's a lot of Shimano reels now. You get the Naskis, the Miraval, the Vanford, the Sustains, and now you have then the Twin Power. So a lot of different, of course, Shimano spinning reels out there. But let's talk about the features, because that is what makes this a little bit different than the rest, especially if you're comparing to the Sustain and the Vanford. This reel has the Hagani gears and the micro module gears as well, making it one of the smoothest reels on the market. And for anyone who is unfamiliar with the micro module gears, it's basically the gears have very, very thin, finer teeth, smaller teeth, I should say, that just creates more rivets in the gears, and you get more bite every single time you turn the handle. The Twin Power also features a bunch of other technology too, like the X-Ship silent drive. It's got the long stroke spool here, but the biggest feature that separates this reel to, let's say, a Vanford is the rigid support drag. This is where you pay more to get a little bit better quality in terms of some of your spinning gear. But inside here, where they have that, there's a little bit more durability inside. So they call it the rigid support drag, and this gives this basically the main shaft some more durability, making it thicker and also making it stronger internally too for the drag. So you're getting a lot of better, definitely a better drag system with the Twin Power and a smoother overall preference. When we were at the expo in Madison a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to pick up all these reels kind of like back to back to back to back. So the Vanford, the Miraval, the Sustain, the Twin Power, and I noticed the gradual difference between the Vanford and the Sustain, and then I noticed the big difference between the Sustain and Twin Power. So there is a big difference in terms of the smoothness of the reel. There's a big difference in terms of the drag, and you can just hear how audible that is. It's got such a smooth drag. I mean, that drag is just so pristine, so crisp, so audible, and these are the big difference and reason why people pay the price for a little bit of a more expensive reel. You know, that's what you get. But let's talk about some of the specs here. So this one is a 3000, and this comes in at 7.6 ounces, so it's a little bit on the heavier side. But it's kind of standard for a lot of the reels here. I shouldn't say it's heavy. It comes in a normal side in terms of spinning weight, spinning reel weight. And it comes with, the 3000 size comes with the T-shaped paddle here, which I do prefer. And the 2500 and the 1000 come with the eye, just your typical eye handle here. I love the paddle ones. They just, something bigger to grab on, easier to grab onto, more room for, especially, with any air, there's just more room to just kind of grab the handle. But, I like getting the 3000 because of two reasons, of course: the handle, the bigger size, and also the bigger spool. I like having a lot of line on my spinning reels, guys, especially if you're drop shotting very deep, or if you're making a long cast, you want to get that bait deep. I love a longer, a bigger spool for those longer casts, and it just, I just like the bigger line capacity. As I mentioned in other videos, that's the reason why I always try to get a 3000 size as much as I can, because I like to put 20-pound braid on there, of course, with some monofilament backing, and then tie on a fluorocarbon leader. So that's usually kind of my setup for spinning reels. But let's talk about the setup about this reel here in particular. So I have this one paired up on, well, it will be paired up on a X Pride B. It's a 7-foot medium rod, and I'm a big fan of the X Prides, and I think that the 7 medium is a very versatile rod, and I can fish drop shot on there, I can fish Ned rigs, I could throw swim baits on there, small swim baits, anything along the lines of that, and that kind of covers most of my application for my spinning setup. So this is going to be my go-to drop shot rod, and other various things too as well, but that's kind of what I will be throwing it on. So yeah, but let's take a second and just admire the reel. And if you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll be sure to catch you guys on the next video.